in this video, we're going to be talking about why fat loss is so hard for so many people. And we're going to keep it very simple as far as like the overarching principles of what like body fat actually is. All right, guys, thank you for checking into Fitness Vlogs #1. Super excited. I'm glad you guys made it in. Thank you so much for checking in. Definitely subscribe and like the video. Biggest thing is that our bodies are the same bodies that we had for generations. So, biologically, we're very much the same as we were before. We basically have more or less the same bodies we had when we were cavemen or living as cavemen. And one of the biggest issues back then compared to now was that when you ate food was harder to find back then. You didn't have like your grocery store to go to get food. So, when you ate food, keeping on that body fat was important for you to survive. And the people that kept fat the best survived the best because there were a lot of times where people were in famines or weren't able to eat a lot of food or just weren't able to keep food abundant enough for them to stay alive and live to have more kids, have more generations. So your body's goal entirely with fat is to keep as much fat, if you need the fat, to keep it on as long as possible, because in the past with our bodies, you would die if you didn't have that fat. So fat loss is always going to be a challenging thing because it is essential to surviving as a human, basically, and it's very important. Now, in the current times, we have grocery stores, we have malls and all the other things that we have, so you don't have to worry about it as much. You don't have to worry about your food as much, so you can eat and be fed all year. But with that, now that system of keeping the fat on the body is now counterproductive instead of being productive. And because we still have the same bodies we had when we were more or less cavemen, we have to now change things. Now the best way for you to lose the fat is to be in a calorie deficit, which is basically burning more calories than your body is using. That's like the simplest way to put it out there. I am going to have another video coming up when I'm going to go like more in depth on what that means and like how to get into that deficit and how to find it. But that is like the main point, is that you have to be burning more calories than you're using, and that way your body's going to use the fat storage on it instead of making more fat storage. But that having such a prevalent role in us staying alive is why it takes so long. Even muscle itself takes a while, because muscle, as much as it looks good, is actually very expensive for the body to keep going. So because our body was based off the caveman body, off times where food wasn't around all the time, having something that takes a lot of energy and you may not always need is important. So if you're a caveman, granted you would be in shape, but you wouldn't be like in bodybuilder shape. There's no need to be a bodybuilder size caveman. But so that amount of muscle would have actually been more taxing on you. So kind of bring it back full circle. If your body is still trained to be ready to be a caveman, watching out for things trying to eat you, or starving for, or watching out for things trying to eat you, or getting ready for a famine, you're going to need that fat more than you're going to need muscle, as opposed to the opposite of how things are now. And that's just something you really want to pay attention to. Genetics also play a huge role in this as well. But just so you know, I want you to get this in your head. If you're trying to lose weight, if you're trying to change your body, it is a process, and it is a tough thing to do, because you're going against the actual rules of your body. The fat loss, the muscle gain, all these things were things that our body has been adapted to and evolved to from us surviving caveman, whatever time period you want to put it into. But it's going to be tough. It's going to be a tough thing. So remember that principle #1. But that's vlog #1, guys. Thank you so much for checking in. Please subscribe, like the video. If you guys have, I'm taking comments from all my socials, and I'm putting them into each one of these vlogs. So it would mean the world to me if you had a comment, a question, just put down in the comment below, or DM me or anything. Everything's at Dom Jackson Fit. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday, guys, and take care.